I've come to learn is that people who prey on people usually started out as victims, telling people and referencing what Dapper Dan had to say when he was first asked. And Dapper Dan is a Harlem legend.
I grew up with Puff Daddy's parents. No matter what happens in the culture, it didn't start, just started. A lot of things that you see happen came about from not even from my generation, but the generation that became before me.
My father was a hustler, you know. He was in jail, he was a hustler. And so I learned early in life that there's only two ways out of that dead end.
Dawg, you would have died just like your father did that night if I wasn't in the car with you. You understand? Your father died because he was going to snitch and rat out his crew.
Jaguar Wright just dropped a brand new interview and she's not holding back. This time she's pulling the curtain back on something that'll make you completely rethink how Diddy turned into the so-called boogeyman of hip-hop. In this sit-down, Jaguar started breaking down some shocking comments Dapper Dan once made about Diddy's parents in his early life. Now, while some of this tea has floated around before, nobody ever had the nerve to line up all the dots like Jag and Dan just did. What they're revealing isn't just messy, it's a downright chilling. We're talking about secrets that have been buried for decades, things that might explain exactly how the chaos around Diddy really began. So here's the deal. Jaguar Wright was on a fresh episode with RWJ, and when she got asked if she believed Diddy was once a victim before turning into a predator, she instantly gave a shout out to Dapper Dan. She said Dan had been warning people for years that all this madness didn't just start with Diddy.
This problem is bigger than Diddy, and it started long before him. He knew both of the parents. He knew exactly what they was into.
It's been in motion for generations. Before diving into Diddy's parents though, let's take a moment to understand who Dapper Dan really is. He's not just a tailor, this man is a living legend, a cultural architect who's been styling and surviving in the streets since the 1980s. He's seen it all, rappers, hustlers, moguls, and even the dark underbelly of the game. And yeah, he personally knew Diddy's family.
I've been telling people and referencing what Dapper Dan had to say when he was first asked. And Dapper Dan is a Harlem legend. He knows both of Diddy's parents. He knew his father before he passed away, and he knew his mother. And like he said, this problem is bigger than Diddy, and it started long before him. He knew both of the parents. He knew exactly what they was into. So yeah, I think it's fair to say that it's quite possible that he had been preyed upon or he had been victimized in some way, shape, or form, but that still doesn't give anybody a right to do the things that he's done.
Dapper Dan used to dress Diddy's father, Melvin Combs, back in the day when Melvin was rolling with the infamous kingpin Frank Lucas. According to Dan, the chaos surrounding Diddy didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's been passed down like a curse, tangled up in power, survival, and secrets. Now let's look closer at Diddy's dad, Melvin Combs, because this is where things really start to get murky. Depending on who you talk to, Melvin was either a respected street legend, a slick hustler, or someone working with the feds, maybe even all three. The truth, nobody can seem to agree, but every version of the story points to the same thing. Diddy was born into a world where loyalty, danger, and deception were already mixed together long before he ever picked up a mic. What we do know for sure is that Melvin Combs wasn't some small-time hustler. He was knee-deep in Harlem's underworld back in the 1970s. He was moving in dangerous circles, rubbing shoulders with the biggest names of that era, including the one and only Frank Lucas. And let's be real, Frank Lucas wasn't just another player from Harlem, he was the player. The man turned the streets into his empire, building one of the largest and most ruthless criminal networks in America, all from the heart of New York City. Lucas didn't just rise to power by chance, he became a deadly force because he refused to play by the game's traditional rules. While everyone else was scrambling for scraps from middlemen, Lucas went straight to the top, directly to the source in Southeast Asia, deep inside the Golden Triangle. That move alone changed everything.
I grew up with Puff Daddy's parents. Yeah. So, we all come from home, born here, raised here. No matter what happens in the culture, it didn't just start. All right? No matter what happens in the culture, it didn't start, just start. A lot of things that you see happen came about from not even from my generation, but the generation that became before me.
And here's where things turn insane. During the Vietnam War, Frank Lucas allegedly pulled off one of the most shocking operations ever heard of, smuggling his product into the United States using military planes hidden inside the coffins of fallen American soldiers. That's how far this man was willing to go to keep his empire untouchable. If you've seen American Gangster with Denzel Washington, then you already know just how wild this story gets. Frank's direct line to the source meant he could sell a purer product at a cheaper price, cutting out the competition and taking over the entire market like a storm. Before long, his operation was pulling in millions every single week, making him one of the richest and most feared figures in Harlem's history. And right there in that same shadow, so cute, was Melvin Combs, watching, learning, and building connections that would shape everything his son became. But every empire eventually falls, and Frank Lucas's reign came crashing down hard. In 1976, the feds finally caught up with him, hitting him with a massive 70-year prison sentence. But Frank wasn't about to rot behind bars. Instead of taking the full hit, he pulled a move that nobody in the street saw coming. He flipped. He became an informant, helping federal agents expose dirty cops, rival traffickers, and some of the biggest names in the game. Because of that cooperation, he walked out after just 5 years, living to see freedom again.
Ruthlessness was legendary. He eliminated competitors with brutal efficiency and bribed law enforcement to evade capture. Lucas lived lavishly, flaunting his wealth with a fur coat worth $100,000.
When he got out, Frank and his whole family were tucked away under the witness protection program, disappearing from Harlem's chaos. But that didn't erase his history, and it definitely didn't erase the people connected to him. This is where Melvin Combs steps into the picture in a big way. After Frank Lucas passed in 2019 at 88 years old, one of his old interviews resurfaced online, and that interview changed everything people thought they knew about Diddy's origins. In the clip, Frank openly talked about his friendship with Melvin Combs and revealed that he met a young Sean Diddy Combs back when the boy was just a kid. According to Lucas, Melvin wasn't just standing on the sidelines, he was deep in the operation, helping to move product all across New York City. He had access, power, and protection, but loyalty in that world only lasts as long as the money flows. Somewhere down the line, Melvin made a move that would seal his fate. He allegedly started talking to the feds, and in that line of work, that's a death sentence. Soon after, Melvin was targeted and killed while sitting in his parked car, a quiet, calculated hit that sent a message. The date was never officially documented, but from what we know, Diddy was only about 3 years old when it happened. Now here's the part that'll leave you stunned. Diddy grew up believing his father died in a car accident. His mom told him that story to protect him from the truth. It wasn't until years later, when Diddy went off to college, that he stumbled upon the real story. He looked up his father's name in the school library, and right there in black and white, he discovered that his dad hadn't died by accident. He'd been murdered in cold blood. So that's the kind of chaos Diddy was surrounded by as a kid. Lies, betrayal, and manipulation everywhere he turned.
Melvin Combs was a good friend. We were good friends. We did a lot of business together. Of course, it was not a legal business, but we did a lot of business together. And I was sorry to see what happened to him. That shocked the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who did it, I'm glad he got what he got. Mm-hmm. Okay, so.
And I know Melvin used to come to your club, the turntable, a lot.
Yes, he did. He come there all the time. Melvin was like a lady man. Yeah, he come there all the time. He come to my club all the time. Yes, he did.
Can you say the name of your club?
The Lord Price Turntable, 52nd and Broadway. I met Sean Combs. I met him when he was a little boy. He used to come over to my house. His daddy used to bring him over my house. He used to come see me on various businesses, and he used to bring him over my house from time to time.
It wasn't just the streets, it was the air he breathed, the stories he grew up hearing. But it goes even deeper than that. If Melvin Combs was really working with federal agents back in the day, those connections didn't just vanish when he died, they might have been passed right down to his son. And that could explain why Diddy has moved through scandal after scandal for decades and somehow stayed untouchable every single time. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, once dropped a bombshell that left people speechless. Gene said Diddy nearly ended up just like his father said, gone for allegedly playing both sides. According to Gene, the night Biggie Smalls was shot in March of 1997, Diddy already knew something was brewing in Los Angeles. He'd been warned that people were coming for him, not Biggie. Gene tried to warn him straight up, but Diddy brushed it off. And what happened next changed music history forever. Biggie lost his life, and some say Diddy walked away untouched because he was always one step ahead, or maybe just maybe one deal away from being the target himself. But Biggie wasn't the only one who got crossed, allegedly. Gene went on record saying Diddy had been a rat his whole life, claiming he's always had a way of keeping his hands clean while others paid the price.
He was killed when I was 3 years old. I don't have like a lot of memories of my father. You know, they say, you know, you can't miss something you never had. My father was a hustler, you know. He was a drug dealer, he was a hustler. And so I learned early in life that there's only two ways out of that, dead and in jail. And, you know, it made me work that even harder. So sometimes you can't just answer why, you know, things happen. But I definitely think the route that I went on, staying out the streets and, you know, hitting my books and trying to be somebody, I think he played a role in that.
Gene even said that if the things had gone just a little differently that night, Diddy would have met the same fate as his father, sitting in that same shadow of betrayal and revenge, that double life which he, working both sides, knowing how to manipulate every move. It's like it was inherited. From Melvin's alleged connections with the feds to Diddy's rumored blackmail rings and behind the scenes deals, the pattern's the same. He's always been the guy in the room who knows too much, the one people can't touch because they're scared of what he might say. And that could be the reason he's dodged serious time all these years. Even now, with everything that's been exposed about him, he somehow walks away with just 4 years behind bars, and Donald Trump supposedly planning to pardon him next. And remember those rumors that Diddy's former chief of staff, Christina Karam, was his Ghislaine Maxwell? How come she's never been subpoenaed, never even questioned? That right there tells you this goes way beyond Diddy. This is an entire system, one that's protected him for years. And the way things are unraveling, it might take a long time before the full truth finally sees the light. So everything we're seeing unfold right now isn't some sudden downfall. It's a whole pattern that's been building for generations. This story didn't start when Diddy signed his first record deal. It started way before that, deep inside his own household. But hold up, because we're not skipping over Diddy's mom, Janice Combs. People love to focus on his father's street connections, but what Janice allegedly brought into the picture takes this story to a whole other level of disturbing. See, while Melvin might have taught Diddy how to move smart in the streets, how to play both sides and always stay one step ahead, Janice, on the other hand, might have been shaping his mind in ways nobody could have predicted.
And I told you that this cat is next 3 lights. Run the light, Kenny. Kenny ran the light, Big stopped at the light. Big get killed. Wasn't meant for him, bruh.
Rumors claim she allegedly ran an escort operation that was disguised as a beauty pageant, using glamour as the perfect cover. Behind closed doors, things reportedly got wild, with late night parties full of powerful people, and her young son right there in the middle of it all. It's said that Diddy saw things as a child that no kid should ever be exposed to, and that those moments warped how he viewed women, love, and control later in life.
Yo, how dare this talking about he want receipts? Let's start with your mother. Your mother got the receipts. Everything is in your mother's name. That's the one who got the receipts. You need more proof? Biggie ain't here, so Big can't give you no receipts. He dead. Craig Mack can't give you receipts. He dead. What are you talking about? Who else? Black Rob can't give you receipts. He dead. And everybody else you made sign paperwork so they can't talk about what I'm talking about.
And this isn't just some random online rumor. Multiple former bad boy artists have dropped subtle hints that Janice might have been pulling more strings than anyone realized.
The fucking satanic behind all this shit, it's her. It's her, bro. It's her. She is his, I can't even explain it, bro. She just ain't no, she the devil, bro. That's how I see it. She the devil. Janice Combs is the fucking devil. That bitch got everybody money. Yeah, man, I don't give a fuck what she talk about. Yeah, you go out there and tell me, seeing her defend Diddy, like, sit your ass down. You the worst person. You the wrong one to talk. You got, you know, you got somebody that you like. That's like R. Kelly coming to talk it up for you. Like, nigga, shut up. We don't need you. No, Diddy innocent. Let's shut up, Kelly. Not right now. That's her. Shut your ass up. You the reason a man like he is.
Take Mace, for example. He once claimed Janice was the one holding all the real receipts behind Diddy's empire, the person who knows every shady move ever made. And then Freddie P didn't even hold back. He flat out called Janice the devil, saying she's the one behind all the so-called ritual talk that's followed Diddy for years.
And he never knew this. I worked in the after-hour spot too.
Okay.
I made more money because the men thought I was very glamorous and I used to pour liquor and they'd give me big tips.
Down Bronx is the home of rap.
You've said I would be 12 years old, and sometimes I'd be out until 3, 4 in the morning, seeing the music.
Whether people believe it or not, the pattern is clear. Diddy didn't rise from nowhere. He came up surrounded by power, manipulation, and control from day one. But it doesn't stop there. Diddy himself once admitted that while living with his mom, he started sneaking out to clubs when he was just 12 years old.
So she made sure there were no girls around, and so I went to an all-boys school.
It was also a Catholic school.
Yes, a Catholic school. I was brought up in Catholic school.
12. That tells you how wild that household must have been. And here's the creepiest part. Insiders say Janice was so controlling and obsessed with keeping Diddy close that she sent him to an all-boys school just so she could stay the only woman in his world. That kind of control doesn't come from love. It comes from possession. And when you look at who Diddy became, all the scandals, all the power games, all the control issues, it suddenly makes a lot more sense. And when you take a look at all those unsettling clips floating around, Janice and Diddy kissing on the mouth, sitting side by side, getting IV drips, even hitting strip clubs together, it's hard not to pause and question what kind of relationship that really was. Then there's the detail everyone keeps whispering about. The white nail polish. Some say that color's a quiet signal, and if you know, whether it's superstition or symbolism, the vibe between them always looked off.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Ma?
Everything's good, baby. I'll be with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too. I know you would.
When you put all that together, the strange closeness, the control, the blurred boundaries, it starts to paint a picture of the kind of environment Diddy was molded in. This is exactly what Dapper Dan was warning about when he said it didn't begin with Diddy. He wasn't just talking about fame or bad choices, he was talking about a whole cycle, one that runs deep, stretching through families, generations, and neighborhoods, because when you strip away the fame and fortune, what's left is a pattern, trauma passed down like a family heirloom, power struggles, manipulation, and hidden agendas keep replaying just with new faces each time. Diddy might have grown up thinking all that chaos was normal, and that's the real tragedy here. Now this doesn't excuse a single thing Diddy's been accused of, not one bit, but it does show why strong homes and solid family guidance matter more than people realize. When the foundation's cracked, it shapes everything that comes after. So now the question is, was Diddy truly a product of his environment, or are we only seeing the surface of something way bigger, something that's been in motion long before he was even born? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this story is nowhere near over.